Yes, it's International Week, ladies and gentlemen, but why is it this week? Gab Marcotti is with us. Gab, why do they have it now? It seems ridiculous. We're at the business end of the season. Everyone's competing for trophies, yet this just seems to get right in the way. A massive obstacle that surely can be avoided.
I actually think this is a lot less of an obstacle than the international breaks that we have in September, October, November. The reality is most national teams haven't played in 3.5 months, and the only games that they'll be playing again are immediately before the World Cup. So this is really the one tune-up. I think there's a natural break on a European level between the round of 16 and the quarterfinals. And as for it being the business end of the season, Dan, this may come as news to you, but frankly, 4 of the big 5 leagues are kind of done and dusted. So why not enjoy some international football?
Well, news to you, Gab Marcotti. The Champions League could be one of the most exciting competitive ever, yet you've got all of these stars going on international duty with the risk of getting injured, which surely is something you don't want as a fan or indeed a neutral supporter.
Well, right. So why don't we just have a mid-season break and give them 2 weeks off? I think these are actually the games where people don't get injured because they're friendlies. I think a lot of these guys are only going to play, maybe a half here, a half there. And look, you have to play international football at some point. And I think actually this is possibly the best time because people who have niggling injuries aren't going off for these friendlies. They're going to rest up and be ready for what's left of the season.
Anybody with brains not going off to these friendlies. Be quite frank with you. And a lot of the leagues, I know Gab touched on the major leagues, most of them are kind of done and dusted, but they are still fighting for top 4 or European football, some of them. But I tell you, from a player's point of view, or from my point of view, this just got in the way. Right. It's absolutely just got in the way at this time of year because whether it's fighting in the Premier League for survival or fighting for the top 4 or at Celtic, we were trying to win the league for the first time in 10 years and we went off to play France. Ahead of the World Cup in France that they won, and we went to play them in St Etienne. What kind of warm-up's that? Getting your backside tan for 90 minutes and losing. And by the way, I gave a penalty away because Zidane dropped his shoulder. And we got absolutely... We learned nothing from it. So it wasn't a very good tune-up for us.
But I'm surely Zidane learned an awful lot.
Yeah, it was easy.
Against you.
Well, we're struggling about that.
The thing is, though, Dan, as much as it says the business end of the season, half the world has a different kind of from European football. And World Cup squads have to be named, the 23 have to be named May 14th. When else are managers going to have a look at players to boil that squad down?
Why don't you just get rid of this and then just end the season earlier? And then everyone can go off earlier.
Very good idea, Dan. Why just play less games in the league football?
No, not play less games. Cut out this weekend, play games now, so therefore the season will end earlier.
So the season ends a week earlier?
Yes.
Even if the season ends a week earlier, you still don't meet the May 14th cut-off date.
Well, why not change the deadline?
Hold on a minute. You have May 14th as your cut-off date. So what's your suggestion? Just cancel all international football and just play all international football in the summer?
Right, stick May 14th.
I'm not understanding your point.
This window, this Pacific window.
So this is the only window you have an issue with?
You
have no issue with the August window, the September...
Right, this is the window we're in at the moment, so that's how I'm addressing it.
Stick May 14th. Let's date May 14th. Stick that date where the sun doesn't shine, right, for the time being. What do managers... You're saying, it's the last chance to look at players.
Right.
You can look at players at clubs and tell me what a manager's going to learn watching a player in a friendly.
In a friendly? Nobody bothers about a friendly.
You get your team together. And you watch your team play together. What sense does it? How much can a manager take going to see his player play for Sevilla? If he's or whatever it may be, you want to see your players together. Surely.
And
you don't just want to see...
What's the point of watching them playing against Sevilla? How does that make any sense?
No,
Gab's already told you, half the players that go might not even play a half. So how's that?
Get them together and then let them play a half.
Not good for anybody.
Surely you learn a lot more than seeing them play with their own clubs.
How's that?
Okay.
The reason you pick them in the first place is because of what they do with the club. That's the reason you picked them.
No, it's not. No.
What do you mean, no, it's not? Whoever got a game playing for the reserve?
Okay.
Hold on. You're going to explain.
Believe it or not, FIFA's actually had meetings with national team coaches who actually gave them feedback on this. Okay, the thinking with this window is partly to evaluate marginal players who you might not call into your expanded squad of 30 before the World Cup because you don't have a slot for them. But a big part of it is you get a chance to work with these players in training.
Hold on a second.
You get a chance to see what their personalities are like. You get a chance to see what the chemistry's like. Because you know what?
What do you think international
for the big
managers are going to
countries,
say?
Stevie,
You think international managers are going to say, well, the feedback was great from international managers? Because not one of them said, we should cancel this.
Oh, he's got a lovely
Every single one of them
personality.
did it. And by the way, you're talking about international managers. You're talking about international managers.
Stevie, they had different alternatives about when they could have done this.
There is not one club
and
manager wants his players
clubs
to go.
As well. All right, Stevie, listen. The point is, and this might come as a surprise, but for the big countries, the ones who don't just go home after 3 days, or after 3 games rather, you got to keep a group of people together for 5 weeks, and they know which big stars are going. They're not there for that. They want to see, they want to get to know some of the other more marginal players in the squad, and they want to actually spend time with them and see them on a daily basis so that they can make the right choices when the tournament turns around and when they might have less flexibility. You're not going to get that watching them in their club games. That's what it's about. It's not about the friendlies. The friendlies are there because they need to make money, but really it's the training camp that goes along with them. That's what's most valuable to these countries. And remember one other thing.
Yeah, I've seen plenty of great players in training, by the way, who when they step on the field are garbage. And as I said, there's not one club manager wants any of the players going to this camp. So go and ask them what they think.
Wait, Gab, you're explaining.
I could care less about those guys.
No, exactly. There you go.
You know, but the point is, you're looking at this from a European perspective, right? If you're the national team manager of say Peru, and half your squad plays in Europe, you're not going to get the daily feedback that the England manager, that Gareth Southgate's going to have with his guys because they all play in the Premier League. So this is why it's important to them. It's not just about the same 3 or 4 people who have got the same guys in the same big nations.
I don't think we needed what turning up for international friendlies is all about, Gab. I think we know what international friendlies are all about.
It's about the timing of this international friendly, correct?
Nothing wrong with it. Be yourself.
Rubbish.